Have you ever wondered if God is real? There are days when you sit quietly in a familiar room where everything remains the same. The clock still ticks, sunlight filters through the window, birds sing somewhere in the distance, but inside, there's a strange emptiness. No one sees it, no one knows, and you can't quite name that feeling either. You just know that something deep within is stirring, urging you to ask a simple question: is God real? This isn't a shallow question. It doesn't arise when you're rushing through your schedule or caught up in joyful excitement. It often comes in moments of stillness, when you feel most clearly that, whether or not people are around, you are still lonely. That's when many people begin their spiritual journey. Not through textbooks, not through doctrines, but simply through a question, small yet powerful enough to change everything. God is real. Can he hear me? And strangely, it's in the very moment you ask that question, when you have no logical answers, that you begin to feel something. A strange sense, not quite a clear response, but a kind of comfort, as if someone is listening, not speaking, but present. People often say that when a person begins to seek God, it's actually God who has long been knocking on the door. Maybe through your sorrow, through a failure you couldn't understand, or in the eyes of a stranger who smiled at you just when you were about to break. If today you're wondering, is God real? You're not alone. If today you're asking yourself, is God real? Know this, you are not alone. Millions of people have asked that very question, and many of them have found their answer, not instantly, but gradually through each day, through personal experiences, and through simple, sincere prayers. We often think that if God is real, then he wouldn't let us suffer. But if you've ever sat beside a hospital bed, buried someone you love, or lost everything you thought mattered, then you might begin to understand something deeper. In those moments, God is not absent. He's whispering through your tears. There are wounds so deep that words can't touch them. And yet, in that silence, many have felt an unexplainable peace. A grieving mother once wrote, "I couldn't stand on my own, but some invisible strength lifted me every morning. I know it wasn't me, it was God." God's presence isn't always loud. He doesn't always perform miracles the way we expect. But he is there, in every tear that's gently wiped away, in the people who show up just when you need them, and in the very breath you still have after the storm. When Joseph was sold into slavery, when he was thrown into prison for something he didn't do, he must have asked himself many times, "Where is God?" But later, it was Joseph himself who said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Faith doesn't always begin with understanding. It often begins with pain no one else can understand, and a quiet whisper in your heart, "I don't know what's happening, but I still believe God is here." Have you ever looked up at the night sky full of stars and suddenly felt so small? An endless expanse, stars shining from millions of light years away, planets moving in perfect order, everything working in such harmony that you can't help but wonder, could all of this really be random? A watch cannot create itself. A beautiful painting cannot appear out of nothing. So how could a vast, complex, law-governed universe filled with life come into being? Without a creator? Many scientists who were once atheists changed their beliefs after deeply exploring the universe, not because of blind faith, but because of logic and the overwhelming beauty of creation. They realized that such intricate order must come from a higher intelligence, something beyond human limits. And when you look at yourself, your mind, your emotions, your sense of morality, your longing to love and be loved, you begin to see that we are not just intelligent animals. There's something deep within us that reaches for the divine, for justice, for meaning. That's not a coincidence. It's the fingerprint of the one who made us in his image. The Bible says in Romans 1:20, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." In other words, if you see a house, you know there must be a builder. If you see a work of art, you know there must be an artist. So when you see life, the universe, and even your own existence, you may not see God with your physical eyes, but you are seeing his fingerprints everywhere. And maybe, just maybe, the reason you're asking, is God real, is because he himself planted within you the desire to return to the one who created you. Human beings can live without many things, without money, fame, even success, but we cannot live without love. Every person is born with a deep, unshakable need to be loved and to belong. And that need drives so many of us to search for love in relationships, in family, in friendship, even in work and passion. But have you noticed? No matter how much love you receive, no matter how deeply someone cares for you, there's still a space in your heart that no one else can fill. St. Augustine once said, "Our hearts are restless until they find rest in you, O Lord." That truth still holds today, because no earthly love, no matter how beautiful, can replace the love of the one who created you, who loved you before you even knew him, and who is always waiting for you to come home. Human love often comes with conditions. If you're good, I'll love you. But God's love is different. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. He loved you even when you fell. He loved you even when you turned away. And he doesn't ask you to be perfect before coming to him, because it's his love that will heal you. Many people say, "I can't believe in God. I'm not worthy." But that's the most beautiful part of the gospel. You don't have to be worthy. You just have to open your heart. When you're sitting alone at night, arms wrapped around yourself because no one seems to understand, because no one truly loves you the way you long to be loved. Remember this, there is one who is right there with you, still loving you, still knocking on the door of your heart. He doesn't force, he waits, like a loving father watching the road, longing for his lost child to return. You may have once asked, is God real? And if after all your thoughts, all the signs, all the quiet whispers within, you begin to feel that maybe God is real, then the next question is no longer is he, but rather, if God is real, will I dare to open my heart to him? Because God's presence isn't just a concept to debate. He's not a theory to analyze or an idea to argue over. He is real, alive, a loving Father, and he's waiting for you to take a step toward him. Jesus once said, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in." Revelation 3:20. That door is not a physical one. It's your heart. And the choice to open it or keep it closed is entirely yours. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've fallen, rebelled, or felt completely hopeless. But don't think any of that disqualifies you from coming near to God. The truth is, God doesn't wait for you to be perfect before he loves you. He loves you in your imperfections. And he wants to walk with you on a journey of transformation. You don't need to fully understand the Bible to begin believing. You don't need a massive faith. All you need is a sincere heart, a simple prayer like, "Lord, if you are real, please come and reveal yourself to me. Please step into my life." Someone once prayed out of desperation, and their life didn't change through fireworks or flashing miracles, but through an indescribable peace, a gentle forgiveness, a quiet guidance they had never known before. Some people meet God in a church. Some meet him in prison, places where no one thought they could ever change. Some meet him in their bedroom, in the middle of the night with their head bowed and tears falling, because they've run out of places to go. And maybe today, you're meeting him through these very words. If you've read this far, it's not just by chance. Maybe God is gently knocking on your heart, not loud, not rushed, but with a quiet and loving invitation. Let me in. And if you dare to take even one small step toward him, you'll find that he's already taken thousands of steps to come close to you. In the end, the question, is God real, is not just a question for the mind, it's a question of the heart. And if you allow your heart to listen, you'll realize he truly is there. He has always been there, and he's waiting for you to come home.